Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. If you're here, just know you're loved, you're safe, and I hope you're doing well. So, today we're going to be talking about universal consciousness. So, we all have an individual consciousness which creates the world around us, in front of us, develops the outcomes in our lives. The thoughts you put in reflect and ripple out, and they come back to you. We're looking at universal consciousness. So there's your individual consciousness, which is then connected to universal consciousness, which is the grand whole. It's the very place where all thoughts have ever originated, all energy, thoughts, creation has always existed and originated. The very substance of physical reality is created through there. Um, the very same place that sages, monks, priests have always developed and received their information is the universal consciousness. Any thought that you put out, have, whatever, goes into the universal consciousness, becomes a further creation. Through our individual consciousness, we can all influence the universal consciousness in order to further create the outcomes that interplay in our world and this dimension, our dimensions, essentially. So, yeah, everything is of influence. So, if you look at things like the laws of physics, essentially they only interlay because we all have the continued and developed opinion that they exist as they do. It's a joint opinion, it's a joint agreement between all consciousnesses, our limitations. We start to breach our limitations. Any skill set, any raise in awareness, any raise of consciousness is of assistance to the universal consciousness. So essentially, we're all connected to this great big bubble of information. This is where you come to be influenced by things like claircognizance. So you'll have a thought in your mind, and then you have a friend that says it, or you're thinking of something, um, and you say it, and your friend is just like, "Oh, I was just going to say that." It's claircognizance. Every thought that you put out can be received by another individual. Gives influence to the idea of telepathy, being able to transfer thoughts from one individual to another. We're all connected to this grander, higher awareness, this grander essence of self, the collective. We're all connected to this great big bubble, and we can all influence it throughout our daily lives. That's why it's so important to keep a solid vibration, because you're influencing it. That's the very currency that you're influencing the universal consciousness with. Now, collectively, we can have influence on the grand whole of the outcome of Earth, areas of the Earth, individuals, through things like meditation. Any joint opinion between us all has strong influence. So if you can get 40 people to pray, it's of influence to the grand whole. If you get one person to pray, it's of influence to the grand whole. But if we can get the majority of individuals with a similar mindset, focusing on the ascension process, focusing on raising awareness, raising the knowledge of individuals, raising the consciousness of individuals, and raising the vibration of individuals, we can make a very grand shift. If we could just all get on board, we could influence this world in such a drastic way. So talk to your friends about the ascension process. Talk to your friends about raising each other's vibration, raising each other's awareness, raising each other's consciousness, because we're all one. We're all connected to the same source. We're all extensions of the same source. We're all reflections of God. In my understanding of it, it's almost as though like branches of a tree. So you take the very tip of the branch and or the pinky of your finger, and that may be your soul self. And this soul self may have experienced several different past lives, other dimensions, other planets, other timelines, and then you come further up to the tree, and you have a larger trunk of the tree or a larger branch of the tree, and you have your higher self, right? And I believe that you can share a higher self with many other individuals, but it's of more connection with your soul mission and your life purpose, your guidance system, your internal guidance system. Um, Come up even further to the very trunk of the tree, and this is how I view the collective consciousness, like one big tree, and we can all reach into the branches of the tree and connect to other individuals within the universal consciousness. We can all connect with one another in distance is of no factor. It's whether or not they're tuned in and connected. So you can reach anybody you wish, essentially through, you can influence people through visual imagery, through inner dialogue, words in your head. They receive them in one way, shape, form, or another. So you can literally be blessing people on a continual level. Come up even further up to the trunk of the tree, and that would be the all. That is the grand whole of everything that we are, and we're all connected to that. That is our highest self. That is everyone's reflection of a higher self. That is universe. That is God. That is source. You know? I believe we're all reflections of God, of the grand whole of God. Our truest understanding of self would be God. God is such a limiting term because it's usually reflective of what they have in Scripture, which is they show God as a personality with an ego and a gender and identity. I don't believe of God in that sense. I believe it to be formless. I believe it to be a grander source of consciousness, something we can all tune into. The God I understand is conscious, and you can communicate with it, and it can live and breathe within you and be one with you. We are all God, experiencing God as God, within God, through God. We are all a reflection of the grand whole of the universe. If you take a jug of Kool-Aid and represent that as the universe and pour it into an ice cube tray, essentially our souls would all be the ice cubes. We are just extensions of the grander whole. And that's what I believe. And I believe we should all come to understand ourselves as that worthy, love ourselves that deeply. You're all divine, spiritual, energetic beings of light. We are all reflections of the grand whole. We are all each other. We are all reflections of each other. We need to walk through our paths hand in hand with one another. If we can come to a state of unity between our deeper senses of consciousness, then we can make some serious, powerful changes in this world. And that's all for the message today. So this is how I feel on universal consciousness. I would love to hear other people's take on it. I would love to receive more information. Send me a video or put your comment down in the comments. And I'd love to discuss and debate this. So let me know what you think. And that's all for today's video. You were loved, you were appreciated, you were deserving of love, and hope to see you next time when we tune in. Alright.